Hello, welcome to Prep, Cook, Eat. This being the inaugural video, we have decided to do a pulled beef. And this is not a typical pulled beef, it's slightly inspired by Indian cuisine as well. And we have our beef here, 1.5 kilos of beef. And you don't have to buy the most expensive beef for this since it's being cooked in the oven for 4 hours. So we have bought almost the cheapest cut. It's a Brazilian beef cut, but it's the cheapest cut. And we have 4 to 5 cloves of garlic, a big fat piece of ginger, 4 small red onions. I like the taste of the red onions better than the white onions because it's a bit more concentrated. And then I have 2 stock cubes, beef stock cubes. Then I have bay leaf, some star anise, cloves, and then we have cinnamon. And for the other ingredients, we have Worcestershire sauce and your typical salt and pepper, and cheers guys, some wine, some for the chef and some for the beef. Yeah, let's get cooking. Okay, we are going to pat dry the beef because for the pulled beef, even though it's going to cook in the oven for like 4 hours, I like to get a really good crust on the beef before I put it into the oven, and which is filled with the liquids. So normally what I do is I pat dry the beef, like dry it really well so that there is no moisture on the surface, and then you cover it with salt and pepper, just salt and pepper, nothing more. And make sure you have a thick bottomed frying pan. I use my cast iron pan for this, and I get it on the stove and get it really insanely hot, like as hot as you can get it. And use some oil which can withstand high temperature, like sunflower oil. Do not use olive oil, as the olive oil might smoke really quickly. So now the beef has been patted brown. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to salt and pepper the beef. Yeah, and be lavish with the salt and pepper. Yeah, because these are big chunks of beef. Yeah, really big chunks, and most of it's gonna end up in the pan anyway. So yeah, be really generous with the seasoning, especially with this pepper. And give it a good pat. Make sure it goes into all the crevices of the beef and it sticks on, and turn it around. Do the same on the other side. Let's prep the vegetables, and let's start with the onions. I've already de-skinned the onions, and now I'm just going to take off these stem, because it's not necessary that you should take it off, but it gets a bit chewy and I don't like it at all. So I just remove it from all the onions. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it into small slices. It doesn't have to be really thin or anything for that matter. So mind your fingers, have a really sharp knife. Every time before you start cooking, make sure that you sharpen your knife. Yeah. So let's start with the preparation of the onions. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect because it has to go into the oven for 4 hours. So just cut it into whatever pieces that you find easy that you can cut it into. So that's it. And yeah, cut all the onions basically. Okay, we are done with the onions. We have cut it into small slices. And now I'm just gonna peel the ginger and peel the garlic. So let's get to the peeling of the ginger. Always use a teaspoon so that you don't waste much ginger, and it's very easy as well. For the garlic, you don't have to worry about the shape of the garlic because you'll be using a garlic press, and you'll be smushing the garlic into really small pieces when you put it into the onion. So just remove the head off and the skin off. Get the pan scorching hot. As you can see, there are fumes coming out of the pan, and I've used a thick bottomed cast iron pan. Add some oil which can take the heat. Yeah, wait for the oil to be really hot and then brown the meat on all the sides. I'll show you one piece and then I'll be doing the same with the other pieces as well. So take your big chunk of beef and make sure the oil doesn't splash onto you. So lay it away from you, yeah? And press it so that you get maximum surface touching the cast iron pan. And it will take a good few minutes, 2.5 minutes to get an even crispy brown on the side. And once you attain that brown on one side, you flip it over, get the brown on the same side as well. And make sure you get the edges as well. So brown the meat on all the sides. Okay, let's flip the beef and see. Yeah, perfect. And now you flip it onto the other side. And just let it be. Let it be. Do not check every now and then. Let it be there for like 2.5 minutes. And by the way, I have switched on the oven to 120 degrees Celsius because we will be finishing this off in the oven. So I am preheating the oven basically. Okay, the other side is also done. Yeah, this is more than enough. And now we have to sear the sides as well. So let it sit on its side for again about 2 minutes till we get a really good crust on the sides. And we have to do this for, since I have many pieces of beef with me, I have to do it for all the pieces. And we'll get back to the video once I'm done with all the pieces. Okay, now we are done with the browning of the meat, and as you can see inside the pan we have the bits from the beef, and this cannot be wasted as this has flavors in it. So I'll be putting the onions in, sweating it a bit, and then I'll be grating the ginger and the garlic into it, and then I'll put all the spices in as well. So let's get cracking. The onions are in, and let's sweat the onions for say 5 minutes. And once we have sweated the onions, then we will put the garlic and the ginger in, because if you put it right now, all you're going to do is you're going to burn the garlic and the ginger. So wait till the onions are slightly translucent, and it's going to take say 5 minutes. So see you after 5 minutes. Yeah. Now that the onions are slightly translucent, we'll be adding the ginger and the garlic into it. I hope you can see the onions. See? Now we have scraped off everything from the bottom of the pan, and then we'll be pouring the wine into this as well. So yeah, and we don't want the onions to be really well done because we're again going to put it into the oven for 4 hours. So this is more than enough. Make a well in the center so that it doesn't burn. And now get cracking with the garlic. All you're going to do is just twist it in. So I've put in the garlic, and I'm reducing the heat. I've reduced the heat quite a bit, and now I'm just going to grate the ginger in. So now we have added the ginger and the onion into the garlic into the onions, and then we're going to sweat it out a bit so that the raw smell of the ginger and the garlic disappears and all the flavors are imbibed into the onions. Get a waft of smell and see if the raw smell is gone. It has in this case. So now I'm just going to add a glass of red wine. And make sure you have a decent wine. And make sure that you cook down the wine. And if you do not want alcohol in your food, you can substitute it with the beef stock. Normally we do have beef stock stocked in our freezers, but today for some reason we don't. So today I'm going to use beef stock cubes for the final product. And now let's just simmer the whole thing and make sure it evaporates down to at least half of what is present inside this one right now. And once it's done, what we're going to do is we're going to transfer everything, including the beef, the onions and the aromatics, into the cast iron pot, and make sure you fill it up to the brim so that the beef is completely submerged. This wouldn't suffice, so I'll be using the beef stock which I've made earlier with the stock cubes which was shown in the beginning of the video. So see you once this is reduced. Yeah. Now as you can see, the wine has started bubbling, has started boiling, so I've decided to add the aromatics in right now. As explained earlier, 1 bay leaf, so I'm just going to crush it into small pieces. Cinnamon, star anise and some cloves. And now we start the reduction. Keep your heat on high and reduce the whole thing. Reduce it to say half of what is right now. And it may be noted that you can also add in some dried herbs right now. Like if you want, you can add some basil or some rosemary or thyme. My safe bet would be to add a bit of thyme, and I'll be adding the thyme. Normally I'd add the thyme right about the end when this is reduced completely, so I just add the thyme into it and just stir it around, and then it goes into the mixture. And once this is reduced, we'll add a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce is available in almost all the supermarkets. Now this is reduced quite a bit, so I'm just going to turn it off, and I'm going to add in a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce and some dried thyme into it. Okay, a tablespoon of Worcestershire, a tablespoon and a half. This is not a fixed recipe which you have to follow by the book, because I normally just go with my eyes and nose and taste. So I just keep on adding ingredients. Now I'm just going to add in some dried thyme. Make sure that you have switched off your stove when you're doing this. And I dry all my herbs at home rather than buying dried herbs. I always get a bunch of fresh herbs, which is always cheaper. And then once I've used the fresh herbs, and if I have some remaining, what I normally do is I dry it in the oven. I can show that to you in another video, like how to dry herbs of your own and then keep it. And it'll last at least for like 6 months, so you have nothing to worry about, and you always have herbs and you never waste it. And here you have rosemary, so crush it, add it into the mixture. So give it a stir and wait for like 2 minutes, and once it's done, we'll transfer all the contents into the cast iron pot and then get everything into the oven and wait for 4 hours. This is the final product with everything added. Now the only thing going in is the beef stock. And see, this is how much we have reduced the wine. And make sure you don't add too much wine, because you don't want it to be too alcohol-y. I mean, you don't want it you don't want to basically get drunk eating a pulled beef. That's it. Yeah, just had 1 glass of wine for this much of beef, so that's it. And it looks like a syrup basically. So this is the consistency that you're looking for. And now let's transfer everything into the cast iron pot. This is the cast iron pot that I'm going to use. It's a 3-liter cast iron pot. So I'm just going to transfer my beef into this. By the way, this has been oiled and kept. This has been made sure that it works properly. So that's why there's a glossy finish into it. So I'll be adding the beef into this. As you can see, the pot is full right now, and do not waste these juices. Pour it into this. Once that is done, take the mixture which you have prepared already and transfer its contents into this, on top of the beef. So I've transferred the contents, the onions and the wine into this mixture, into the whole thing. Now we're going to top it up with some beef stock. This is the beef stock which we prepared earlier from the beef stock cubes. So just pour it over, make sure that the beef is covered. Yep. So perfect. And the beef is submerged. Yeah, kind of submerged, but this is more than enough. Just try to give a gentle stir so that the beef stock and your wine mixture integrates. And once that is done, you're basically done with the whole thing, and you can put it into the oven and forget about it. So yeah, like I said, the oven has been preheating for 120 degrees Celsius. I've been preheating it for almost an hour now. It's a bit too much, but yeah. Close it. The whole contraption is really heavy. Now it's really heavy. So now it goes into the oven and you wait. So that's it. So see you once this is done, and I'll tell you the exact time later, because I'll be doing a check after 3 hours, and just to see how much the beef is shrunk and if the water is still there. So check after 2.5-3 hours, make sure everything is okay, and then yeah, I'll give you the final results later. See you. So that's it. This whole contraption has gone into the oven, and it's gonna be there for 2.5-3 hours, and then we'll pull it out and check, and if needed we'll go to the full 4 hours. So I'll come back once the final product is ready, and I have a sleepless night tonight. So after our wait for 4.5 hours, this is the final product. This has been taken out from the oven. So as you can see, the beef chunks have reduced in size, and we have quite a lot of gravy left. And what we will be doing is we'll be taking out the beef chunks from that and putting it into a glass bowl, and with the help of 2 forks I'll be shredding the meat. So let's proceed to take out the beef chunks, and then I'll show it to you. So as you can see, these are our beef chunks which have been taken out of the oven, and now let's proceed to shred the meat. And shredding the meat is very easy. Just take 2 forks and just pull the meat apart. So as you can see, the sauce is bubbling over, so it means it's boiling. So we'll add the knobs of butter that is just to give it a glossy finish, plus of course the taste. So let's add in the butter. I'll be using 4 small chunks of butter for this much of gravy, and we have to get it reduced. So the butter goes in, and now we keep stirring and wait till the sauce is reduced. Yeah, so guys, we are done with the first video. So this is the sauce bubbling away. It has reduced quite a bit, and I've stopped the gas, so it has reduced considerably. It has reduced, and there's a really glossy finish because I added the butter at the end. And this is all the pulled beef. So we mix the two and enjoy your food. So like and subscribe. Okay guys, see you next week with a new video. Bye bye.